Sometimes you may have to use a terminal emulator, which is not all that functional. In some cases, some of the terminal emulation programs that you use will actually have certain keys or keystrokes disabled. One of the primary examples of this is some of the later Windows operating systems that have actually disabled arrow keys in the hyperterminal. And a lot of people use hyperterminal to access their routers. The big problem with this is that if you're used to DOS, you tend to use your up and down arrow keys to recall commands and left and right arrow keys to move around the command line. But these were completely disabled in the hyperterminal in later Windows operating systems. Every version of Windows before Windows 2000 had a hyperterminal in it, and all of a sudden they stopped providing this functionality in Windows 2000 and later. One good thing about Cisco is that it provides a bunch of editing commands, which allow you to move around the command line pretty easily. You can see here that most of these commands begin with the Control key. Control A will actually move you to the beginning of a command line, where Control E will move you to the end. So A for the first letter of the alphabet and E for the end is a good way to remember. Control B will allow you to move back a character without a delete. Well, that's going to be different than the backspace key. If you use backspace, it's actually going to delete the characters as it moves back. If I want to move forward in the command, I can use Control F. Once again, these editing commands are going to be used if you're sitting at a terminal that doesn't allow the arrow keys. You can use arrow keys to move backwards and forwards without deleting commands too. If you have to recall or repeat commands, you can use Control N to recall the most recently typed command, Control P to repeat the previous command, and Escape B and F for backwards and forwards an entire word. One of my all-time favorites is the Tab key. The Tab key is incredible. You type in the first part of the command, like CLO, and hit Tab. It types the word clock for you. If you know what the minimum number of characters are in a particular command, you can type that and hit the Tab key. It'll go ahead and finish the command for you, which is really cool. I'll give you a chance to work with these terminal editing commands as we go through some of our labs.